There is no doubting the impact that small businesses have on our lives. And there's nothing that gets me more excited than sitting down face to face with the business owner and helping to empower them to bring their vision to life. Because at the end of the day, business is the art of creating opportunity.
In this episode, we meet with an entrepreneur on the cusp of launching a new business venture. What starts out as a sit-down interview in Houston, Texas, takes us on a whirlwind tour of his manufacturing process in the center of Mexico. His passion is off the charts and his launch strategy is compelling. Join us as we meet with Pablo Uriegas and learn about LeatherLately.
Welcome to our Business Spotlight series. We do this each month. We bring in another business owner, an entrepreneur, a friend of mine to come in and give you guys some insight about how they operate their business, how they run it, how they found success, the hurdles, the hard times, the good times, everything. So I'm excited this month to have my good friend Pablo Uriegas with me. Pablo, welcome, man.
Hey, how you doing?
I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you're busy.
Thank you.
This is a new company that Pablo is doing. He's had other business experience, so I know we're going to be able to leverage a lot from his experience and what he's done. Well, tell our viewers a little bit about LeatherLately.
We want to launch shoes, leather goods, belts. We want to launch like the all leather side for men.
Well, I know we're going to talk a lot more about the material and what makes your product different, because that's where I'm really big, is not just starting a company and starting a brand, but really identifying your unique differentiator, right? How are you different? What makes you stand out in a crowd?
I'm passionate about this, and I want to put the very best material inside it. A lot of the brands, they say, well, if you don't see it, why bother spending the money on it?
Right.
It's a very classic style, but what is special about it is that the lining inside of it is made out of calf, which is the most important thing, because your feet is going to be in contact with that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So this type of leather is breathable and it's comfortable, and it will just like a nice glove. Also, this stitching is called the welt. A lot of the companies, what they do is they put this a fake stitch on the outside, and they just cement everything, and that's what's called a cemented shoe.
Sure.
So you cannot tear apart the outsole without ripping the shoe apart.
God, okay.
This is called the Goodyear welt construction. When this is worn, you can take this outsole out and you can put a new one in. This is a shoe for a lifetime.
I'm really intrigued with this direction of starting the company on Kickstarter. To be completely honest, I haven't had a whole lot of experience with that. Tell me why you chose Kickstarter as your platform to kick off.
I realized that there were other companies, startups doing Kickstarter, and it was a good way to reach a lot of people.
What gives you the confidence to do this?
Sometimes you wake up and you look at a product and you say, this is it. I like it. I love it. You show it to your friends and you show it to other people, your family, and they say, it's a great product. There is no exact science. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to learn a lot about it as you go along. But you just got to go with your feeling and your gut.
See, I love that. See, I'm a believer in very minimal to no business plan. I know that sounds crazy to some of you guys watching, but did you put together a formal business plan?
Honestly, I've tried a few times.
Okay.
Like I went to business school. I'm an industrial engineer. I have an MBA. I understand that it's important to put a plan together, but I think there's a lot of variables. A lot of things change as you go along.
Yeah.
You have to adapt, and there is no recipe.
So you mentioned Mexico being a kind of a capital for shoe manufacturing, and that's Leon, right?
Yeah.
You're doing your shoes there too.
Yes, that's why we decided to make our shoes. There's a great heritage in the town. They make about 200 million pairs of shoes.
Wow. Okay.
You wouldn't think about it. So it's a place where things can be done.
Man, we're gonna have to go sometime. I've never been to Mexico where there's not a beach, so it might be a little bit of a shock.
You know what? You're more than welcome to come with me.
When are you going next?
Next week.
Well, we can definitely go. Pat, can y'all go? Can we get tickets? Let's do it. All right, awesome. Let's pause here, and then we'll pick back up in Mexico.
And just like that, we're off to Leon, Mexico. I was captivated by Pablo's story, his history, and passion for leather goods, and I knew that seeing it firsthand would help us understand why he was so confident about launching this company.
Pablo, this is awesome, man. This is exactly what you described.
Yes.
We are actually here in Leon, Mexico at the LeatherLately studio. I mean, this is just too cool. I know you're going to give us a full tour later on, but you know, while we're up here, what's kept kind of going back in my mind whenever we first met was you talked a lot about the quality and the detail that goes into your shoe, and that's what's going to separate you from the market. So like, what makes a good shoe?
I think every product starts with the raw material. And I want to show you, this is the lining that we use.
Wow.
This is a very special lining because it's calf lining and it's very, very soft.
It's so soft. It almost feels like a golf glove. Yeah, that feels amazing. You know, I've spent money on shoes before, and I don't think I have any shoes that have this on the inside.
You probably won't.
I mean, the leather on the outside of your shoe seems to have so much depth. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it because I'm not a shoe guy. But I mean, you can visually tell the difference.
I mean, this leather is very soft, but it's also very rich, and it has this amazing feeling. So
yeah, it's like thick enough, but it still bends. You know, it's not like a rigid.
It's really soft. So when you have the softness of the calf leather inside, and then you have this on the outside, we're really building up.
Might stand a little taller when you're wearing those.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So who do you see as your go-to client? I mean, who are you going after? Because I see a lot of different people in just these two shoes right here that would wear something like that.
I think the customers that we're looking for is the everyday man that works hard every day, and then from time to time they want a little bit more. They want a little bit for a little bit, you know, like
I can relate. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Oh man, I want to get this cool bag, or I'm getting this good pair of boots. You know, you want to give yourself a little treat.
Absolutely.
So we want to have the boot for the weekend, the more casual, but we also want to have an option for the people that need to dress up a little bit more and they want to really stand out in the boardroom.
Absolutely. This one's unbelievable.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And this dress shoe is made out of baby calf, and then we're hand finished. So this is a shoe that when you wear a suit, it's just going to look fantastic. You're going to walk into the office and everybody's going to go like, what? Where did you get that shoe?
Yeah, it seems like that's just the hardest thing, is getting the shoe and the belt to match. And I guess that's going to be one of the things you're doing on Kickstarter, right? Is having belts, right?
Yes,
so we'll have the matching belt, which is always like a pet peeve of mine. I don't know what it is, but it's like trying to find the right color brown, especially, right?
So we want to build a whole line for men. I mean, people that like leather, they want to visit the store and say, I can buy bags, I can buy shoes, I can buy the belts.
This is just so fascinating. I'm trying to get my head around how does it actually come to life? Because I mean, looking at all this, it just looks overwhelming.
First, you have an idea of what type of shoe you want to make and what type of shape you want to make. And so you work with the last maker. A last is a pattern like this. This is a wooden last. And basically it's the mold where you're going to build your shoe on top. So you want to point your toe or wider or taller or whatever. Once you have your last, then you start putting some models on top of it. You wrap the last with tape.
Okay.
You just tape, and you draw on top of it your style.
Wow.
And then you take this 3D into a 2D drawing. So you cut the tape, you put it on cardboard, and then you have a pattern. And then you cut the leather out of that, and then you build it, you stitch it, and you try it on the last and see how it looks. Yeah. And that you need to have multiple iterations of it until you go, okay, this is looking fine.
This is the final shape and everything.
The lines look good, everything is looking well, and then you work on the finishing of the shoe. Okay. And then there's a lot of other details that go into making it. Maybe we can see some of those construction details in the factory floor. I think that might be easier.
All right, well, I can't wait. Let's go down and take a look and see how it happens.
Let's go.
So, you know, I know you've got a background in leather, but like, why shoes? Like, I mean, and I know you're going to have leather goods and other things, but what was it that drew you to wanting to start with just shoes in general?
I don't know. I've always been, since I started in this business, I've always been attracted to shoes. We sell leather for shoe companies, and we spend a lot of time at shoe companies looking at shoes. So I guess I'm just passionate about shoes.
Yeah, it's just a perfect fit. And like you said, or I learned, right, that leather is a perfect fit for shoes.
Yes, it's actually absolutely the best material because it's just breathable and it conforms to the shape of your foot. It has bad memory, as opposed to a rubber band who has a good memory, always goes back to the same shape. A leather stays in the shape of your foot. That's why all shoes are the most comfortable.
One of the hurdles that I see with shoes and online is, how do you know you like it until they try it on?
For me, it's about how to sell the first pair. because I truly believe in the product that we're making, like, because we're trying to achieve the highest quality possible. So I know that when they receive the first pair, they're going to be happy and they're going to want to come back. That's my hope. And if they don't like it, if it doesn't fit, we have to have top of the line service.
Man, that tour was something else. I mean, what an eye-opening experience to go see, like, firsthand how these shoes are constructed and what goes into it. I mean, I guess I always kind of figured it was that complicated, but I mean, just seeing it firsthand was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's always interesting walking to a shoe factory. There's so many things going on at the same time.
So let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know that you've had other businesses and you've got the leather business and, you know, you've done a couple Kickstarters, you're relaunching a new brand now. When did this passion for business or kind of doing it for yourself, when did that start? Was that as a kid or?
Yeah, I think I've always had it. I mean, I was selling candies when I was 7 years old.
Nice.
And I used to do drawings and tell my brother-in-law who was dating my sister, I said, I'm gonna sell you this drawing. And
that's cool.
They would buy it.
So you've been a hustler for a long time.
I've been a hustler since I was a kid, so I failed in a lot of stuff. And I think that's one of the things. I mean, when you're trying to make a business, you just go on and try to make it, and sometimes you fail, and you have to be tolerant to that frustration.
Yeah, you know, I get asked that so many times, like, what's my biggest failure? And to be honest, like, I fall on my ass all the time.
Yeah.
I don't even really acknowledge them all that often. I mean, I acknowledge in the fact that I learn from it, and I'm like, okay, next time I do this, I won't do it that way. But they don't really stand out as, like, major setbacks or major issues to me. It's just, like, part of the process.
Yeah. Well, even in this project, I think I've made a few mistakes since I started doing it. And then you just make corrections along the way. I mean, you just go, you make it up as you go along.
Yeah.
And that's why I like jazz improvisation. The definition of improvisation is you make it up as you go along.
I love it. So, yeah, I grew up playing saxophone, so I was always about not memorizing the sheet music.
Yeah.
At least that's what I would tell my director.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, business comes down to passion and true determination. Your ability to push through adversity and challenges will allow you to rise above the competition and stand out in the marketplace. Pablo is an amazing example of that. I look forward to keeping in touch with him and supporting the LeatherLately product line whenever possible, because it isn't every day that you get to connect with a brand that is filled with history, passion, and beauty.